Hi guys, Metta Glyde here. We've been asked quite a few times to do a tutorial on counter melodies, so we thought we would do one for you. It's actually going to be a bit more than just counter melodies, because obviously to create counter melodies you're going to need other ideas to work them around. So we're going to show you our workflow and how we create our ideas, and hopefully it will help you out with your productions. Okay, so first of all we're going to create a lead, a main melody. So let's go into our piano roll and find our low notes in G. We're just going to put some low notes in. I might drop these down actually. And what we're going to do is find the top note that we want our top notes to go on. So if I just play this, and then I'll just play on the keyboard to see. So we're going to go with A sharp. So if we just start dotting some notes in and get the pattern that we want, and then we can continue and progress with the melody. So what I'm going to do is just move them up to the next octave, and then we're going to put some notes in between. So our notes in between are going to be on D. And we're just going to play it with the metronome to just see how it flows. Yep, I think that works. So now what we'll do is we'll just copy this over and we'll join these two, and then we'll start moving a few notes around. Okay, so let's just copy these over. Join them. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is making a bass change here. So what we'll do is grab these middle notes and the bass notes. We're going to bring this down to D sharp. And let's just see how that sounds. Okay. So now what we're going to do is just move this note back up. We're going to open up the cutoff a little bit. These. So what we're going to do is bring them ones back down. Bring this one back down. So what we're going to do is just copy this over and write a second part to the melody. So what we're doing now is just listening to the melody and seeing if we can hear about any more bass changes to make it slightly different in the second part, and it's not just the 4 that loop over and over again. So we'll go with that and see how that sounds. Go up. Okay, getting there. Okay, so I'm liking that. So if we just move these back up. So we've got our rough melody. So the next thing we would do is create some chords for this melody. So if we come down to our piano chords, go into our piano MIDI and go into the layer editing mode and select our lead, but then lock that so the MIDI can't be moved. Then that shows us the notes of the MIDI of the melody, and we can draw in some piano chords. So they match. So let's just draw in the bass notes. We just move that up to the next octave. Okay, well, while we're here, what we'll do is just copy that piano chords to our sub pad so we don't have to draw it out again. And then we'll go into our sub per MIDI here, and we'll just move it up. Yeah. Okay, so we'll come out of that, go back into our piano chords. Okay, so what we want to do now is start creating a chord for the piano, and a quick way to do this is take your melody and the notes that you see in the middle. If you just follow those with these, so basically if you just duplicate the bass notes, move them up to where your middle notes of your melody are, and then we'll just play that. Okay, so what we'll do is just drop them down an octave, and then what we'll do is if we select our bass notes and then copy them and move them up to the G above the middle note. So now we have this. So now what we want to do is give these notes another note. So what we'll do is let's start with the same note as our top note of the melody. Let's put that in there. So we're going with A sharp, and we come here, and we go back to G for this one. See how that sounds. We'll go up to D for this one. And then back to A sharp for this one, same as this. And we're going to drop to A for that one. Then back to G for this one. And then we're going to go back to D for this one. Okay, so we've got our piano notes. Now what we can do is, by using these piano chords, we can create a pad. So if we move it up, just copy the MIDI up to your pads, and then if we go into the MIDI, so we'll get rid of that and open up the pads. I can just get rid of the lead as well now, so we're just seeing the pads. Let's just play that. Okay, what I'm going to do is just get rid of the bass notes. So we're just playing triads. So they're too low at the moment, but we're going to do some inversions so they're not playing exactly the same as the piano. So we'll leave them there for the minute, and we'll just make some inversions to see what they sound like. So we're going to take the first bottom note and just move it up to the D in the next octave above. And then we're going to take these two and pop them both up. And then we'll take that F there and just take that up to the next octave. So you're playing exactly the same chord, but it's just an inversion of the chord. And then we'll do the same by taking that one up. And then this one. And then this one. Okay, that sounds good. So now if we put that with our piano chords, and our sub pad, and then we'll just see how the melody sounds with it. Okay, so now we've got those ideas, we can start creating some kind of counter melodies. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go into pluck 1. We'll go into the MIDI. Go here, and then what we'll do, our pads MIDI, we're going to lock that MIDI because we're going to use those notes to do our first counter melody. So what we'll do, turn it on, and right at the start of each change here we're going to just draw in a pattern. So 3 notes sort of arpeggiated just in the downwards pattern. Now doing this is just a good way to get you started, because drawing notes in and have them play, even if they're not going to be what you're going to use in the final track, it can just spark inspiration and give you more ideas. So we'll just play it. So we'll just take our main melody out for a minute, and then we'll just use the pads, sub pad, piano chords, and then the pluck 1 to come up with some other ideas. So we'll play it again. So what we're going to do is add the guitar. So the best way to come up with these ideas is, obviously if you've got a MIDI keyboard, just find keys that work and just start playing some ideas. It only has to be basic, just a few keys, and then that can spark even more inspiration. Okay, so let's create a pattern. And we'll go into our guitar MIDI and record some notes in. now we've got the keys that we think work, then we can go in and obviously sort out the quantization and also maybe change the timing so they hit in different places. So what we'll do, we'll grab these. I'm just going to move them up here. So let's just hear how that sounds. Okay, so now we've got those, what we can do is the end part of the guitar, I'm gonna slice off, and then we can move that up to pluck 2. What we're going to do is just put it there as well, and then if we move this over as well and duplicate that, and then we'll make this a complete pattern as well. So now we have pluck 2 is going to be playing this sound with this MIDI. Let's go into it, and then the guitar is going to be playing this MIDI. So although we've just played both of those patterns in the guitar, you can split it up over 2 different sounds. So let's just play it and show you what I mean. And then what we can do is then maybe take out the pluck 1 that we've done and just okay, so let's just add another pluck. So we're going to go into the MIDI of pluck 3, but we're still going to see the pluck 2 and the guitar MIDI because we want to place the other pluck 3 in between these notes. Just listening to see where I think they need to go. Let's just select it. So just going to record some in. Now what we'll do is just go into the MIDI and then just make sure they're in the right place. Okay. And then we'll see how that sounds. It's a good thing to do is make sure your plucks have delay on them, because again that can create new ideas from just hearing the delays, and then you can work out where your phrasing and your timing of your MIDI is going to be. Also, obviously play with the cutoff to give more expression to the sounds. So I'll show you what I mean, just try it out. So maybe to the piano MIDI. Select the notes and bring the velocity up so the keys are hitting slightly harder. And then bring our first pluck in, see how that sounds. And then bring our melody in. So that is pretty much the workflow of how we create our ideas. Obviously that's just a rough idea, but you get the idea of how layering things and how we arrange our counterpluck melodies so they're firing off each other, so you have like a call and response type of thing, question and answer. Like I said, play around with delays. That can spark inspiration, and you can just get new ideas from doing that. Just sometimes just sitting there trying to come up with positioning of the notes to work with your melody is frustrating, and you can take up so much time by doing that. So just add a delay plug in, just put in a few notes, obviously in notes that are in key, and work with your main melody, and yeah, you should be good. So we're just playing one more time. Okay guys, well, we hope you found this helpful. If you did and wanted to learn more, we obviously have our tutorial series at Mag Signature Sound on sale at the moment, and we also offer online tuition. We can cover any topic on trance production, so just drop us an email through our contact us page on the site, and we'll get back to you. Okay guys, well, until next time, take care.